disrespect the dead. Don't talk about the dead. Leave them alone. Let them rest.
Never have I ever watched any of his videos and just felt like, oh, he's targeting me, and I'm offended by it. You know what I mean? Like, sure, like some of his content, like I've subscribed to the Daily Wire. I've subscribed to his podcast. So it's like I hear this every day what he talks about, and I can honestly say, like, I don't agree with everything that he talks about. You know what I mean? I'm not a yes man. Like, if I don't like something, I'm like, no, you know what? I don't like that. Take her opinion. You know what I mean? But that's my opinion. I don't ever sit there and feel like, no, I'm gonna take somebody up for that. God forbid, like anyone puts that on their mind. But like, never in 100 years in my lifetime I would ever see somebody take the street like it's a Celtics parade. You know what I mean? And like be excited for it. Like just today there was a video uploaded and posted. 19-year-old kid from the school that didn't agree with him was out here football punting all his candles and posters, his memorial, right where he was shot in Arizona, excuse me. And you know what I mean? Like, obviously, you know what I mean, people took offense to it. He was tuned up from the person who got dragged off the sidewalk, and police took it in their hands because it is vandalism. It's like,
I don't understand people disrespecting the dead. I never liked it in rap, you know what I'm saying? All the rappers doing that, the quote unquote YNs, you know what I'm saying? But nah, I guess old school for that. You don't disrespect the dead, don't talk about the dead, leave them alone, let them rest. Again, I don't know. I don't know who he is. I never really watched none of his videos. The only thing I've seen ever about him is probably 3 shorts. You know what I'm saying? And I must have seen the shorts that y'all don't agree with.
It all depends on your algorithm.
I don't. You know what I'm saying? One of them decent in the group.
Yeah.
In the group. I didn't agree with it.
Yeah.
I don't. You know what I mean? I think some of the stuff, when you follow, you know, the somewhat history of the Black Americans, you can see that. I see it like almost like a chess game. You know what I mean? This move that we're gonna do today is gonna affect them years to come. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that one clip about them, they're not being fathers in the homes, and black guys just like making babies and leaving them, like, what do you mean? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There's so many other factors that play, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's not just a guy that just makes them and leaves them. It's always some sort of issue, you know what I'm saying?
On the flip side of that, though, I've seen a lot of videos where he talks about, you know, the government, how they got their hand in the cookie jar a little bit too much, getting involved with families and pretty much promoting single mother household because it's incentivized. All the programs incentivize that, and he speaks on that as well. And a lot of times when he's talking about something like that, and that's what he's talking about as well. I've seen him talking to a black woman with a baby and talking about how that baby deserves a father, and specifically he was stating that, you know, that she gets incentivized for the father not to be in the home. And the lady was agreeing with him. And I'm not sure if she was agreeing with him because she takes up those benefits, I'm not sure, but she was agreeing with him that in society, and I'm sure it doesn't really matter what ethnicity you are, it is incentivized to get fathers out of the home.
But this is my thing, okay? Are those same incentives or whatever in Beverly Hills? See what I'm saying?
I mean,
I was thinking about this the other
Beverly
day.
Hills is a different demographic.
No, hold on. Is there a welfare office over there?
So I guess it depends on what, I would say, my guess would be the state of California, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, that's where Beverly Hills is?
Yeah.
The state of California probably offers welfare.
More than welfare.
But the folks living in Beverly Hills may not need to take advantage of it as much as, you know, maybe some folks in another.
California in general is probably one of the worst states to live in right now anyways, statistically, right? From raising families, taxes, wages of living, wages
That was
of making.
just an example. But just like with abortion
Compton,
clinics are more in
urban cities.
Yeah.
Urban cities. What are urban cities? Mostly black populated neighborhoods. So, you know what I mean? You gotta look at all of that stuff before we can start saying black guys just make babies and leave them, or whatever the case
easiest
may have.
answer, because again, I am pro-life, the easiest answer is to get those businesses out of those cities is to either A, be abstinent, or B, like have your children. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of giving the excuse for people to, like, we can agree sex is a mature thing, right? You just don't have sex as kids. You know what I mean? Like, and again, I'm not sitting there condemning anyone or any of the followers that has sex when they were underage, but it's like you shouldn't
baptized and now he brand new.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so like, I had sex at an unreasonable age, right? I was 14 years old.
Oh, we don't want to hear about this stuff.
Yeah.
No, if we want to be black and white,
we don't want to hear.
I was baptized and I promote it.
What kids was doing.
Anyone that wants to, you know what I mean, change their life for the better, go ahead. But what I'm saying is, I was a young child making those decisions. You know what I mean? Acting like I was an adult. It's not an adult move. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the product of underage, consensual, sexual intercourse. So it's like, are we like taking the necessary precautions of teaching kids those stuff, like practicing safe sex or is it too taboo to talk about in high schools now? You know what I mean? Or
I don't think that's too taboo to
They're
talk
talking about that in middle school.
Yeah,
elementary or something.
I'll say my kids work at Mock. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say that, but my kids work at Mock, right there on Daniel Street, in corner of Daniels and Fairmont, and they work there. Yeah. Yeah, no, it is what it is. Yeah. My kids work there, and I want to say my daughter has been there for a while, and she has a permanent position there. But in her high school years, she was like an advocate for talking to kids about safe sex. But real quick, guys, I just wanted to point out, because we started bringing up like abortion clinics and that stuff. I know, like, just to stay on the topic of Charlie Kirk, I know him personally. He was very against abortion. He thought that the baby's life should be saved and be delivered. So he wasn't for the abortions or anything.
I mean, that abortion thing is a slippery slope, you know what I'm saying? Because you got people, what about the rape victims, or you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. I don't know. It's just.
But he also brings up those facts too. I don't know off the top of my head, but I think he was saying, like, if I remember correctly, like, it's around, and you guys can fact check me after the fact, but it's something around like less than like 2% of cases are rape cases where the mothers are having abortions.
Yeah.
Or where somebody admitted to it, because maybe not everybody's going to admit to it.
So that's where the information is a little skewed, because you don't know what somebody is admitting or being honest about.
Do we think it's like, all right, we're gonna just take 100 cases and just put it out there as that, or it's just like, as you know what I mean? Like, at what point are we gonna sit there and say, like, oh, well, this 1% is really 35%, or if it's 1% or it's 1.5% to, it's just 2.1%.
So are you saying, just for my own clarification, let's say there's 1 million cases of abortion, for example, but are you saying they'll take only 1,000 to figure out
I'm not saying that. I think what they're doing is they're taking the data throughout, say, the month of July. It's like, all right, how many cases have you? You know what I mean? How many kids have you aborted?
And that's when the statistics.
You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a national number. I don't think it's like, all right, let's just like round off because last year it was this, and you know what I mean? I think that number is pretty close to accurate, right? I don't think any number or statistic is 99%, but I think it is very close to the numbers that they are providing us. So if it's like give or take, if we're giver and taking numbers, I think that's also misleading information if we're gonna sit there and say like how many people are actually going to admit to it. I don't think many people are going to admit to it, but I think a lot do admit to it. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
yeah,
wow.
But if not everybody is admitting to being raped and having an
But I don't think that number jumps from 1.5, let's say it was, to 10% of the cases. I don't think that number is that skewed like that.
You don't know. I wouldn't like say that it isn't. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know, that's just a very touchy thing for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
So guys, let me ask this question. You know, just to keep it on you know, as fathers, and then obviously said you share your experience working with kids. How do we talk about this? How do we explain this stuff? You know, what happened to Charlie Kirk and some of the stuff he stood for, or some of the what was going on with all the videos now, on top of the videos that he's already had on the internet, but now the new videos coming out that people are making and you know, pretty much putting judgment on him or speaking in his favor, that it can get very confusing for kids. Obviously, we're grown, we're gonna come up with our own opinions, but for kids, how do we communicate that for kids that are maybe only seeing one side of the story? How do we have a conversation with our kids or kids in general?
I'm glad you brought that up. For me, I found out that my daughter was following the trend of what nephew called champion his death. Yeah. You know what I mean? And when I found that out, I was upset. You know what I'm saying? I was upset because that's not what we do. You know what I mean? We don't sit here and root somebody dying, somebody getting slain like that. Anybody. You know what I mean? So I had to sit down, maybe scold her a little bit so that she knows that I'm serious about that. You know what I mean? Not too much, but just a little bit, so she knows like, this temperature's a little bit hot. It's warmer than usual. And I just let her know that that's not what we do. You don't root nobody dying. You don't wish death on nobody. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what they do, especially for a guy that's just speaking his opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask a question?
I understand.
How did reading it make you feel? Like,
I didn't read it. It was told to me that that's what she was doing, and I just equally got as mad.
Did it kind of like I want to say like shock you? It's tough because like those are my cousins, so it's like I'm not trying to sit there and like.
No. I got mad because that's not, you know what I mean? That I wouldn't want nobody to root, you know, the death of anybody I love or like. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
This was kind of like her first experience of like witnessing.
Right, and we never had to have this conversation. Yeah. I never had to school her like, yo, you don't wish death on nobody. You know what I mean? So this was all the first, but I think I had to make it my point that, you know, you let the death rest in peace. You know what I mean? Whatever they did, if they didn't do nothing physically to you, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?